Australia's housing affordability crisis is shaking the very foundation of the Albanese government. But will Albanese's government survive this cataclysmic test? Or are they going to crumble under the weight of a nation struggling to buy homes, pay rent, or mortgages? In this video, we're going to highlight the pros and the cons of recent political moves, shedding light on the uncertainty surrounding the fate of millions affected by the housing crisis. Join us as we unravel these dramatic twists and turns of the crisis and uncover some shocking truths. So, if this sounds concerning to you, which it should, smash the like button and stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth and unravel the dramatic twists and turns of the housing crisis. Alright, let's do this. Australia's housing affordability crisis is shaking the very foundation of the Albanese government. The Australian housing affordability crisis is about to get a whole lot more concerning for Australians. But before we jump into it, for your benefit, if you'd like to be kept up to date with property, current affairs, rare commercial or residential property insights, and investigative deep dives into location hotspots, smash the subscribe button, but don't miss out on the future updates. So, first of all, let's keep this somewhat positive. The 5 good points for this political move. Number 1, the Labor government's pledge to invest 10 billion Australian dollars into the country's wealth fund for social and affordable housing shows at least a commitment to the housing affordability crisis. A big portion of that is directly for social housing, demonstrates a proactive approach to securing the support from the Greens and potentially addressing concerns for renters. Number 3, the focus of housing affordability as a central policy issues recognises urgency and significance of the problem of the Australian population. 4, the acknowledgement by political experts that a failure to tackling housing affordability could have severe consequences for the government highlights at least the importance of addressing the issue effectively. Number 5, the recognition that the low two-party vote in the previous election indicates public dissatisfaction and the need for tangible progress on the housing affordability underscores the potential for significant political consequences if the crisis is not adequately addressed. Alright, let's go into the 5 bad points. Number 1, the setback faced by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and the shelving of the centrepiece policy indicate a lack of immediate solutions or problems in dealing with the housing affordability crisis. The second is the rejection of the housing bill by the Greens and their criticism of the current iteration raise concerns about the effectiveness and inclusivity of the government's approach to these renters' issues. Number 3, the long-term timeline mentioned by AMP Deputy Chief Economist Diana Messina suggests that achieving meaningful impact on the housing affordability will take an extended period, potentially leaving many struggling Australians in precarious situations. Number 4, the generous tax concessions for property investors, building delays, mentioned as factors contributing to the crisis highlight the complex and multifaceted nature of this problem, making it challenging to implement and have effective solutions. Number 5, the rise in mortgage delinquency rates and the potential electoral backlash from renters due to increasing the rental costs indicate delays in government action could further erode support from the Labor government and exacerbate the housing crisis. So, what does this all mean? The housing crisis in Australia is a pressing issue, with soaring prices and rising rents making it difficult to afford many homes. Prime Minister Albanese's efforts to address these crises have faced some setbacks which could have significant implications of his government, similar to how climate change impacted his predecessor. During the last election, a significant number of voters expressed dissatisfaction by supporting minor parties or independents. This trend may continue in the upcoming election as housing affordability remains unresolved. Progress in the building of homes has been slow, leading to a potential voter frustration. Albanese's Labor government has pledged a substantial investment in social and affordable housing. However, the Greens have rejected the housing bill, arguing that it neglects renters. They see an opportunity to gain Labor-held seats and have already started campaigning in vulnerable areas. Their motion to delay the bill highlights the demand for action and rising rents. The housing crisis has led to a decline in home ownership rates, especially among younger generations, with Sydney and Melbourne being the world's most unaffordable markets. Multiple factors contribute to the crisis, including tax concessions, building delays, post-pandemic migration, etc. But while the government's social housing policy is a step in the right direction, it alone cannot solve the issue. Homeowners are also burdened by mortgage repayments, and further interest rate increases could lead to mortgage delinquency rates, impacting renters. Labor must convince voters in affected areas that they're actively working to address these challenges. As the next election approaches, voters hope to see concrete steps taken to tackle the housing affordability crisis. Many unanswered questions remain. Can the Albanese government regain momentum and pass effective housing legislation? How will the Greens' reject and campaign strategy impact the political landscape? And what other measures will be taken to address the various facets of the crisis? Stay tuned for updates on this critical issue and watch this video to continue on your property investment financial literacy. Cheers, guys.